There's quite a long wee bit, this long wee chapter about Arbroath, but we're most interested in the Abbey at the moment. It says the glory of the place was its Abbey, the venerable ruins of which are still much admired by travellers, such as ourselves, because that's what we're travelling all this way for. It was founded about 1178 by William I and dedicated to the memory of Thomas Becket. Its founder was interred within it, but there are now no authentic remains of his tomb. Dedicated to the memory of Thomas Becket, is he no English?
I'm sure Thomas Becket was English, there was a Davy. Elizabeth I?
I hope so. He was like murdered in a church, wasn't he?
Right, so.
That's a bit weird.
The Becket.
Oh, it was Thomas A. Becket. But it's that's not fact. That's a mistake. It's just Thomas Becket.
Okay.
Its founder was interred within it, but there are now no authentic remains of his tomb. It is highly probable, however, that it must have been near the Great Altar in a spot now walled in as a private burial place. We'll have a wee look for that when we get there. The monastery of Arbroath was one of the richest in the whole island, and its abbots were frequently the first churchmen of its kingdom. Cardinal Beaton was the last abbot of this establishment at the same time that he was Archbishop of St Andrews. The monks were of the Tyrannesian order. I don't think I've heard of them. And were first brought from Kelso. This monastery formerly enjoyed great privileges. A charter is still extant from Joan of England under the Great Seal of that kingdom, by which the monastery and citizens of Arbroath were exempted in every part of England except London and Oxford. Why has it got so many ties to England? That's kind of weird. It has also been of considerable note in the Scottish history, which you would assume so, it's a Scottish cathedral, particularly as the seat of that parliament during the reign of King Robert Bruce, in which the celebrated manifesto was addressed to the Pope. That's your Declaration of Arbroath. After the death of Beaton, the Abbey felt the destructive rage of the reformers. The last commendatory abbot of Arbroath was John Hamilton, second son to the Duke of Châtellerault, who was afterwards created Marquess of Hamilton. This abbey was erected into temporal lordship in favour of James, Marquess of Hamilton, son to the former, upon the 5th of May, 1608. And then afterwards it belonged to the Earl of Dysart, from whom Patrick Mall of Panmure, gentleman of the bedchamber to King James VI, purchased it with the right and patronage of all the parishes thereto belonging, 34 in number. Gentleman of the bedchamber was obviously earning quite a substantial amount of money if he was able to buy up 34 parishes. He must have done a really good job putting where wee King James VI to bed at night, eh? They were exempted from assisting at the yearly synods, and Pope Pius II declared his resolution in 1461 to excommunicate all those who would trouble them upon that head. They were dead quick to excommunicate folk back in the day. You'd think they'd want to hang on to as many believers as possible. The abbey was once enclosed with a strong and lofty wall which surrounded a very considerable tract. On the southwest corner is a tower. At present, the steeple of the parish church in the southeast corner was another tower, with a gate beneath called the Darn Gate, which from the word darn, or private, appears to have been the retired way to the abbey. This is from a guy named Pennant who visited the abbey in 1772, so we'll see how much of this still exists. The magnificent church stands on the north side of the square and was built in the form of a cross. On the side are 3 rows of false arches, one above the other, which have a fine effect, and above them are very high windows with a circular one above. I don't think very much of that's still standing. In April last, a part adjoining to the west end suddenly fell down and destroyed much of the beauty of the place. The length of the whole church is about 275 feet, the breadth of the body and side aisles from wall to wall 67, the length of the transept 165 feet, the breadth 27. it seems as if there had been 3 towers, one in the centre and 2 others on each side of the west end, part of which still remains. On the south side adjoining the church are the ruins of the chapter house. The lower part, which is vaulted, is a spacious room, well lighted with Gothic windows. Above is another good apartment. The great gate to the abbey fronts the north. Above the arch had been a large gallery with a window at each end. At the northwest corner of the monastery stand the walls of the regality prison of great strength and thickness. So there's a prison there as well. We can look out for any remains of that. The prison did belong to the convent, which resigned this part of its jurisdiction to a layman whom the religious elected to judge in criminal affairs. So they just got like a random guy, like a farmer or something, when you get to judge people now. Like, that's what that sounds like. The family of Early had this office before the Reformation and continued possessed of it till the year 1747, when it was sold and vested in the Crown with the other heritable jurisdictions. I wonder if that was part of the 45 rebellion, the after effects of that, you know. In the year 1445, the election of this officer proved fatal to the chieftains of 2 noble families. The convent had that year chosen Alexander Lindsay, eldest son of the Earl of Crawford, and commonly known by the appellation of the Tiger, or Earl Beardy, to be the baillie or chief justiciar of their regality. Yep, Earl Beardy. But he proved so expensive by his number of followers and high way of living that they were obliged to remove him and to appoint in his place Alexander Ogilvy of Inner Party. While some workmen were employed in 1835 in clearing out the rubbish from the ruins of the abbey, they came upon a stone coffin containing the skeleton of a female which had been carefully enveloped in a covering of leather. This must have been some lady of rank in her day, and the good folk set it down as the remains of the Queen of William the Lion, who, as well as her husband, the founder of the abbey, was interred here. Arbroath is undoubtedly a royalty of very ancient erection. It was probably erected into a royal borough by William the Lion about the year 1186, but this cannot exactly be ascertained owing to the loss of the original charter, which was taken by force out of the abbey where it was lodged in the time of the civil wars during the minority of James VI. So that was when Queen Mary of Scots, was under contention. In fact, she was probably in England at that point. It was George, Bishop of Moray, that took it out of the abbey. Because monasteries and abbeys and that tended to be where all your important papers and charters and histories and things were kept, you know. So when an invading force came into a place, that would be the first thing they would go after, is the abbey or the cathedrals, and that to just take as much history as possible, you know. During the war in 1781, this post was annoyed by a French privateer named the Fearnought of Dunkirk, commanded by one Fall. On the evening of the 23rd of May, he came to anchor in the Bay of Arbroath and fired a few shot into the town, after which he sent a flag of truce on shore with the following letter. At sea, May 23rd. Gentlemen, I send these 2 words to inform you that I will have you to bring to the French colour in less than a quarter of an hour, or I set the town on fire directly. Such is the order of my master, the King of France, I am sent by. Send directly the mayor and chiefs of the town to make some agreement with me, or I'll make my duty. It is the will of yours. To Monsieur's mayor of the town, called or brought, or in his absence to the chief man after him in Scotland. The worthy magistrates, we have yet again time to arm the inhabitants and send expresses for military aid in the true spirit of subtle diplomacy, gave an evasive answer to Monsieur Fall's letter, reminding him that he had mentioned no terms of ransom, and begging he would do no injury to the town till he should hear from them again. Upon this, Fall wrote a second letter to them in the following terms. At sea, 8 o'clock in the afternoon. Gentlemen, I received just now your answer, by which you say I asked no terms. I thought it was useless, since I asked you to come aboard for agreement. But here are my terms. I will have £30,000 sterling at least, and 6 of the chief's men of the town for otage, hostage. Be speedy, or I shoot your town away directly, and I set fire to it. I am, gentlemen, your servant. I sent some of my crew to you, but if some harm happens to them, you'll be sure we'll hang up the main yard all the prisoners we have aboard. To Messieurs the chiefs of men of Arbroath in Scotland. That's quite hard to read. His English was not top-notch. The magistrates, having now got some of the inhabitants armed, and their courage further supported by the arrival of some military from Montrose, set Fall at defiance and ordered him to do his worst, for they would not give him a farthing. Whereupon, says the worthy historian of this memorable transaction in the annals of Arbroath, terribly enraged, and no doubt greatly disappointed, he began a heavy fire upon the town, and continued it for a long time, but happily it did no harm, except knocking down some chimney tops, and burning the fingers of those who took up his balls, which were heated. On the 24th he sent a third letter on shore, by some of our own people whom he had captured at sea. It run thus: At sea, May 24th. Gentlemen, see whether you will come to some terms with me, or I come in presently with my cutter into the arbour, and I will cast down the town all over. Make haste, because I have no time to spare. I give you a quarter of an hour for your decision, and after I'll make my duty. I think it would be better for you, gentlemen, to come some you aboard presently to settle the affairs of your town. You'll sure know to be hurt. I give you my parole of honour, I am your, etc. To this letter the magistrate sent a verbal reply informing Monsieur Fall that they would be glad to see him on shore, and at the same time they hoisted a flag of defiance on the ballast hill. Finding all his threats in vain, after firing a few ineffectual shot, the Frenchmen weighed anchor, sailed in pursuit of some sloops which had appeared in the offing, and did not return. To prevent the recurrence of insults of this kind, a battery was soon after erected by subscription between the harbour and the sea on the ballast hill, mounting 6 12-pounder and having a complete command of the bay, so that, adds our annalist with most excusable triumph, now no Fall with his fear not dare insult Arbroath with impunity. There you go. So we'll get into the Declaration of Arbroath. Historical works by Balfour doesn't really give us much information about it. He says, the 6th of April, this year, 1306, Robert Bruce, Earl of Carrick, was solemnly crowned at Scone in memorial whereof John de Fordun, the Prior of St Andrews, has left us these rhymes. In the year 1306, Robert de Bruce of kingly stock was found, received at Scone, Scotland's king was crowned. This is in April the 6th of the month. I don't really rate him as a poet. Cosmo Innes for his sketches of early Scotch history. And Scotch, I want to repeat to all those that let themselves get offended by Scotch being a substitution for Scottish. That's a really new thing. People didn't get offended by that. Scotch has always, in the history annals, been a very accepted alternative to Scottish or Scots. So you can bite my bahookie. So, Sketches of Early Scotch History says, it was in the spacious buildings of this great monastery of Arbroath that Robert Bruce, in April 1320, assembled the Parliament, which asserted in such vigorous language in their letter to the Pope the freedom of their country. The Declaration of Arbroath, of which a full translation can be found attached to Robert I's chapter from Balfour's Historical Works, we'll get into in a wee minute. King Robert, being at Berwick, Pope John the 22nd did send a nuncio to him, desiring him that he would leave off the destroying any more of the King of England's dominions, until the Pope was fully informed of the equity and pretended title of the English King to the crown of Scotland. The King gave the nuncio many fair words, and presently convened the nobility and gentry at the monastery of Arbroath, the 6th of April 1320, where they wrote in a letter the Declaration of Arbroath to the Pope, a particular information to the estate of the kingdom, since King Fergus, Mor Macairca's day, as also of the pretended title of the tyrant of England, King Edward I, and his successor, how unjust and foolish it was, contrary to the laws both of God and men. And that passage is from Balfour's Historical Works. Now, The reason that we had to draw up such a thing, that Robert the Bruce had to draw up a Declaration of Arbroath, is because Eddie the First had decided that he was going to crusade into Scotland. The Pope had instigated the Crusades. Crusade is just cross aid. So they're trying to get all the Christian factions of the known world to go into any other jurisdiction, any other country that wasn't Christian. They were given the right to then go in, make war, and take it as their aim to make it a Christian country, which is why it was mostly centred in the Middle East, because you ended up with, the Christians being against the Muslims, etc. King Edward decided to subvert that to some extent. He decided that he was going to make out that Scotland wasn't Christian in order to give him the right to come in and make war and take Scotland as a dominion of England, under the idea he was going to Christianise it. And he'd written to the Pope, and the Pope went, aye, that's fine, on you go. Like, I've already said, you can go into a place that's no Christian and kill them all and make it your own. Do the thing, Scotland was a Christian country, very Christian country, and Robert the Bruce then had to appeal to the Pope after Eddie the First come into Scotland with all his shit. Robert had to send the Declaration of Arbroath to the Pope in a bid to say to him, listen, Eddie the First has no right over Scotland. We're a Christian country, we have our own laws, our own kingdom, we're one of yours, he has no right here. And the Pope went, aye, that's fine, no bother, he's got no right there. It was still on us to get fucking Eddie to bog off, and then Eddie's son honestly didn't care. He just wanted to be a king and live in luxury and not have to bother with this warring stuff, so we didn't have much to fear for him. Eddie the First did tell him, as like a dying wish, that he wanted his head to be taken off his body and his skull to be carried by the English army throughout Scotland for the remainder of the conquest. His son never did that. He didn't bother. He honestly didn't care. So that helped. We have a translation of the Declaration of Arbroath here. So the Declaration of Arbroath was in Latin originally. We have a translation here by Dr. Alan Borthwick of the National Records of Scotland. This was completed in 2005 by him. It reads, to the Most Holy Father and Lord in Christ, the Lord John, by divine providence, Supreme Pontiff of the Holy Roman and Universal Church, his humble and devout sons Duncan, Earl of Fife, Thomas Randolph, Earl of Moray, Lord of Manning of Annandale, Patrick Dunbar, Earl of March and Lees, Earl of Strathern, Malcolm, Earl of Lennox, William, Earl of Ross, Magnus, Earl of Caithness, Northney, William, Earl of Sunderland, Walter, Stewart of Scotland, William Soulis, Butler of Scotland, James, Lord of Douglas, Roger Mowbray, David, Lord of Brechin, David Graham, Ingram, Umfreville, John Menteith, Guardian of Scotland, Robert Keith, Marshal of Scotland, Henry Sinclair, John Graham, David Lindsay, William Alden, Patrick Graham, John Fenton, William Abernethy, David Weems, William Mushet, Fergus of Ardrossan, Eustace Maxwell, William Ramsay, William Mowat, Alan Murray, Bill Campbell, John Campbell, Reginald Shane, Alexander Seaton, Angela Leslie, Alexander Straighton, and the other barons and freeholders, and the whole community of the realm of Scotland, send all manner of filial reverence with devout kisses of his blessed feet. Aye, alright. Most Holy Father, we know, and from the chronicles and books of the ancients we find that among other famous nations our own, the Scots, has been graced with widespread renown. It journeyed from Greater Scythia by way of the Tyrrhenian Sea and the Pillars of Hercules, and dwelled for a long course of time in Spain amongst the most savage of peoples, but nowhere could it be subdued by any people, however barbarous. Thence it came, 1200 years after the people of Israel crossed the Red Sea to its home in the west, where it still lives today. The Britons it first drove out, the Picts it utterly destroyed, and even though very often assailed by the Norwegians, the Danes and the English, it took possession of that home with many victories and untold efforts, and, as the histories of old time bear witness, they have held it free of all servitude ever since. In their kingdom there have reigned 113 kings of their own royal stock, the line unbroken by a single foreigner. The high qualities and merits of these people, were they not otherwise manifest, shine forth clearly enough from this, that the King of Kings and Lord of Lords, our Lord Jesus Christ, after his passion and resurrection called them, even though settled in the utmost parts of the earth, almost to the first to his most holy faith. Nor did he wish them to be confirmed in that faith by merely anyone, but by the first of his apostles, by calling, though second or third in rank, the most gentle St. Andrew, the blessed Peter's brother, and desired him to keep them under his protection as their patron forever. The most holy fathers, your predecessors, gave careful heed to these things, and strengthened the same kingdom and people with many favours and numerous privileges, as being the special charge of the blessed Peter's brother. Thus our people under their protection did indeed live in freedom and peace up to the time when that mighty prince, the King of the English, Edward, the father of the one who reigns today, when our kingdom had no head and our people harboured no malice or treachery, and were then unused to wars and invasions, came in a guise of a friend and ally to harass them as an enemy. The deeds of cruelty, massacre, violence, pillage, arson, imprisoning prelates, burning down monasteries, robbing and killing monks and nuns, and yet other outrages without number which he committed against our people, sparing neither age nor sex, religion nor rank, no one could describe nor fully imagine unless he had seen them with his own eyes. And from these countless evils we have been set free by the help of him who, though he afflicts, yet heals and restores, by our most tireless Prince, King and Lord, the Lord Robert. He, that his people and his heritage might be delivered out of the hands of our enemies, bore cheerfully toil and fatigue, hunger and peril, like another Maccabeus or Joshua. Him too, divine providence, the succession to his right according to our laws and customs, which we shall maintain to the death, and the due consent and assent of all of us have been made our Prince and King. To him, as to the man by whom salvation has been wrought unto our people, we are bound both by his right and by his merits, that our freedom may be still maintained, and by him, come what may, we mean to stand. Yet if he should give up what he has begun, seeking to make us or our kingdom subject to the King of England or the English, we should exert ourselves at once to drive him out as our enemy, and as a subverter of his own rights and ours, and make some other man who is well able to defend us our king. For as long as 100 of us remain alive, never will we on any conditions be subjected to the lordship of the English. It is in truth not for glory, nor riches, nor honours that we are fighting, but for freedom alone, which no honest man gives up but with life itself. Therefore it is, Reverend Father and Lord, that we beseech your holiness with our most earnest prayers and suppliant hearts, inasmuch as you will in your sincerity and goodness consider all this, that since with him whose vicegerent on earth you are, there is neither weighing nor distinction of Jew and Greek, Scotsman or Englishman, you will look with the eyes of a father on the troubles and privations brought by the English upon us and upon the Church of God. May it please you to admonish and exhort the King of the English, who ought to be satisfied with what belongs to him, since England used once to be enough for 7 kings or more, to leave us Scots in peace, who live in this poor little Scotland, beyond which there is no dwelling place at all, and covet nothing but our own. We are sincerely willing to do anything for him, having regard to our condition that we can to win peace for ourselves. This truly concerns you, Holy Father, since you see the savagery of heathen raging against the Christians as the sins of Christians have indeed deserved, and the frontiers of Christendom being pressed inward every day, and how much it will tarnish your Holiness's memory if, which God forbid, the Church suffers eclipse or scandal in any branch of it during your time, you must perceive. Then rouse the Christian princes who for false reasons pretend that they cannot go to the help of the Holy Land, because of wars they have on hand with their neighbours. The real reason that prevents them is that in making war on their smaller neighbours, they find a readier advantage and weaker resistance. But how cheerfully our Lord the King, and we too, would go there if the King of the English would leave us in peace. He from whom nothing is hidden and well knows, and we profess and declare it to you as the Vicar of Christ and to all Christendom. But if your holiness puts too much faith in the tales the English tell, and will not give sincere belief to all this, nor refrain from favouring them to our undoing, then the slaughter of bodies, the perdition of souls, and all the other misfortunes that will follow inflicted by them on us, and by us on them, will, we believe, be surely laid by the Most High to your charge. To conclude, we are, and shall ever be, as far as duty calls us, ready to do your will in all things, as obedient sons to you as his vicar, and to him as the supreme king and judge, we commit the maintenance of our cause, casting our cares upon him, and firmly trusting that he will inspire us with courage and bring our enemies to nothing. May the Most High preserve you to his holy church in holiness and health for many days to come. Given at the monastery of Arbroath in Scotland on the 6th day of the month of April in the year of grace 1320 in the 15th year of the reign of our king aforesaid. Good. Yeah, it looks like there's a couple of churches in that way too.
There's a bridge.
And a river. This is all very nice.
Oh, that's lovely, isn't it?
Yeah.
I've been up, I don't think I've been up this road.
No, I don't think so. At least I don't mind it.
Unless you don't stick your own out, just floating at the body windy now.
That is the River Tay.
Oh, the Tay.
The Tay.
Silvery
It's got
Tay.
a railway line right next to it. It's probably a pretty good train journey. Like, very scenic. Parking for Arbroath Abbey this way.
Okay.
Look at the size of that thing.
Oh, that's big, isn't it?
From what we read, it seemed to have like towers at almost every corner, eh? Like. This is really extensive. There's a lot here. have a wee look around the graveyard first. I think we'll have a wee look around the graveyard first. I don't know what Accies is up to at the moment. I'm out this way, you can't miss me. So I assume these were the base of pillars that were formerly inside the abbey. Oh, bee buzzing past my head. I assume people aren't buried here anymore. Let's have a wee, have a wee look for some years. 1850 on this pointy one here. Well, there's 1937, so that's pretty recent. Here's for 1850. It's the memory of John Gordon. Worms destroy this body, yet in my flesh shall I see God. Nice. That's interesting sentiment. 1842, erected by William Cargill, Pilot Arbroath and Margaret Swankie, his wife, in memory of Betty, their daughter, who died on the 19th of March 1837, aged 8 months, and of their son, who died on the 14th of May 1842, aged 14 months. Those are parents that did not have much luck, but then child mortality was very much a present danger up into the 20th century. Got a good day for it. It was threatening rain earlier, but we might even escape it. This looks old. Look how weather worn this is. It's got rid of most of the details. Oh, have a wee look around here. 1837, 1905, right next to it. It's funny the mix of years you get all right close together. Oh, cobwebs in there. Wonder, it looks like it had people standing at the front. Maybe 2 knights or something. 1674 is the year on this one. Wow. Oh my goodness. And if you think this place has been on the go as an abbey since the 12th century, there's likely some exceptionally old graves in amongst here. We'll get in behind the abbey a wee bit. It looks like it used to have a sailing boat with an old Union flag on it. 1822. Well, I like the script on this one. Blessed are something. I'm not really getting that at all. It looks like I or LBE, dead, and then something bodies. Oh, that's very strange. I'm not sure what that says. Some thistles at a season. They're drying up a wee bit now. I don't think I can get in that gate. We'll try it in a minute though. We'll see. It's quite nice. Don't know how well you can see it. It looks quite dark in the camera. Got like roses coming out for the centre with wee crosses round the Celtic cross. See, the cross is a wee bit better in the back. It's just emulated on the front. I like that. Oh, coming into midgy territory here, but it looks it. Oh, this scripting's nice. Here lies the mortal part of William Gibson, sometime weaver in Ferguson, who died on the 19th of May 1811. I really like the scripting on that. Doesn't make for an easy read, but it's very pretty to look at. Oh my goodness, this place is haunted. Oh my goodness. I'm in amongst all the bugs. We must escape. Escape all the bugs. Oh my goodness. Oh, hope they're not in my hair. Sure I'll find out. Good trees in here too. Lots of very nice greenery. We'll see about that gate. 1813 for this wee one. I think this is locked against us. Yep. Padlocked. Bowling club by the looks of it. Very nice to have your bowling club right next to Arbroath Abbey. It's a good location. Yeah, I can see where Accies is. This is nice. I don't know when my phone stopped recording, but it stopped recording at some point, so that'll be interesting to get home and find it. Already seen this nice big old gravestone. This is good too. Look at that relief. They wanted that to last, eh? Not so much the text, but the decoration on it has withstood the ages. Don't know if we can actually get in about this. I don't know if it's all part of. Yeah. Oh, someone's got their grave marker in what I assume to have been the inside of the abbey by these pillars. I assume this wall continued right up the length of the graveyard and joined onto this wall, so this would have all been inside, and somebody's had the honour of being buried within the abbey. Oh, it's windy. It's good weather though. No unauthorised access. How do we get authorisation for access? That's what I want to know. Oh, it really is mostly fenced off. Let's get through this. Do we think this is where the jails were? That the prisons that our article told us about? The ones that were overseen by the nuns, the convent? Could be. There's not signs here to say as much, but we certainly read about them. Let's have a wee look and see if there's any signs nearby that tell us about the prisons. These would have been buildings, I guess, especially this over here. Oh. Also doesn't mention the prisons there either. So it says, during excavations of the chapter house in the 1930s, several medieval graves were discovered. The chapter house was often used for the burials of abbots, senior officials and benefactors. I wonder if that's what the grave on the ground was within the old walls. Lots of seagulls here in Arbroath, known for its fishing in the harbour, and seagulls are very noisy here. So this would have been an old wall that we're walking up along here. Here's just a wee junction. Let's see what this says and then we'll get in about them. Beyond the cloister. It says, the cloister's architecture of solitude sheltered the monks from the outside world. The abbey complex was also a lively and bustling place with close ties to the surrounding countryside. We've got an artist's impression of the abbey in about 1500. Wealth through worship. Large abbeys such as Arbroath were economic powerhouses. Well, they had the wealthy donating all the time just to prove how religious they were. The abbey supported itself financially too, it says, through the administration of large estates across eastern Scotland. We heard that that guy had bought up the King James's Sixth bedchamber lord, managed to buy up 34 parishes, including Arbroath. Abbeys had substantial financial responsibilities. They were taxed heavily and had to maintain their buildings, repairing them following storms, fires, and warfare. There was much warfare, of course, hence the need for the Declaration of Arbroath. These things have all fallen over. Wonder what that was surrounding. Not really very much. Maybe where a tree's been uprooted. It's kind of what it looks like. Church here. Oh, these flowers look like they're stock footage. Look how good that is, all the poppies and daisies and buttercups. Strange that it's just in this area, the rest is just grass and trees. I wonder why just this area's got the flowers. There's nothing stopping us from going in. I was wondering if maybe there was a grave here or something that the flowers commemorated, maybe. I'm not seeing anything. Is there a down? It looks like there's a down. We'll come back and we'll go down this a wee bit to have a wee look. It's maybe underfloor pipes or waterway of some kind. Let's see, it's just dark with some plants. Let's get ourselves out of here. Oh, whoop, whoop. Stairs into this bit. Alright. We can't get into this, but I mean, we can. I've spotted several ways in which I could get into these bits. But we are being watched by the people who work here. So I don't get to do my usual investigating the nooks and crannies of a place. Not without being shouted at, and I don't want my Historic Scotland card revoked. These look like resale doors as well. But there's no mention of the prisons that I've seen in the wee signposts that surround this place. Glass in the windows. I would want to see what's in these wee rooms. So this wall would have continued out along this line, becoming part of these buildings. This would have all been connected. And this gap under this fence, I could get under that, no bother. But it seems they don't want the people to get in about it. There's maybe health and safety stuff at play, not letting folk in. Noisy birds. Noisy, noisy birds. Would be better if so much wasn't closed off to us. There's a lot of space. Like, I mean, I could just nip in there and just go up and have a look, but again, I feel like they're watching us. Kind of want to. Oh, I'm so tempted. Because I mean, that's not even closed. Like, I can just like get in here. I hate the regret of not going in a place when I could. Got grave markers here as well. 2, 3, 4, 5 grave markers next to the walls of the inside of the abbey, because mind, this would have been the inside where we are now. I'm seriously considering this. I mean, it's not even like closed off, it's not. I'm going a wee bit until someone shouts at us. Because, you know, if I get a brick to my head, that's my own problem. South Mayville, very nice. I'm totally going to get shouted at. I'm just waiting, like, I've got that feeling at my back that I'm being watched and it's just a matter of time before someone shoots at me. See, there's another board down here too, which suggests that people could once get in here because there's information. Well, let's head round this corner. Oh, look at this. We'd never have got in to see this otherwise. Oh. I don't know why they close off so much of these places. It makes me really sad. Let's have a wee look in here. Oh, there's even a spiral staircase going up. It's locked by a padlock. Not getting in that gate, but I would be tempted. Look how good this is. Here we've got a sign suggesting that, you know, we should be allowed in here. Accies is heading back in the way of the people that run the place, the tour guides and that, so hopefully he'll keep them busy while I'm having a wee look. It's a sacristy. He's watching me shaking his head. Look at this. We'd never have got into this. The remains of the family of Ochterlony of the Gund being interred March 6th, 1811. I better not got too much round this way because they'll see me.
Right, okay. Because there's a sign behind your back saying danger, no unauthorised access, stay out. I hear if Accies is going in. Look at this. I mean, we don't want to have to come back, do we? So we might as well get as much as we can while we're here. Southwest Tower. And look, there's even stairs made up. Like, people have been up there. I want to be up there. Southwest Tower. This is good stone. Yeah, all white and purple and red, and I like that.
Scotland, 1320. The wars of independence have been raging for nearly 25 years. Famine caused by heavy rains, war and disease have ravaged the land. Robert the Bruce has been king for 14 years, but some people don't accept his claim to the Scottish crown. They include King Edward II of England, whose father Edward I repeatedly invaded Scotland. Edward Balliol, son of the late King John, who hopes to replace Bruce as king. Those Scots who think Edward Balliol has a better claim to the throne and are in two minds about Bruce. And Pope John the 22nd, who has excommunicated Bruce for his sins during the Wars of Independence. Bruce decides to write a letter to the Pope in a charm offensive, backed by most of his noblemen.
Our very holy Father, we are the barons of Scotland. The history of our people is long and filled with peril and adventure. And truly, we are a blessed people, with St. Andrew himself as our patron saint, directly called by God to live as a peaceable, freedom-loving nation, which is how we live until we leave it in care. We invited King Edward of England to help us choose one. Great mistake. He was a false friend who invaded our land. We were saved from this dilemma by our true king, Robert the Bruce. He was descended from our long line of kings and fought like a great hero of ancient times. But we won't be fooled again. If he lets us down and tries to put the English back in control, we'll get rid of him. But it is in truth not for glory, nor riches, nor honours that we are fighting, but for freedom alone, which no honest man gets up out of life itself. So we're asking your holiness, please, tell King Edward to go away and leave us in peace. Do this for us, and we are yours to command. You can even help with your manpower shortage for the Crusades. But if you don't help us, the killing will continue and the blame will fall on your homes. Yours humbly, the Barons of Scotland, 6th of April, 1520.
The letter is dispatched from Arbroath Abbey to the Pope in Avignon. But at home, trouble is brewing. Rumours have emerged of a plot to replace Bruce with Edward Balliol. And some of the people who added their seals to the letter are implicated. In the panic that follows, several people are executed for treason. The plot has failed, and Bruce has held on to power. Meanwhile, in Avignon, the Baron's letter reaches the Pope, who is impressed. He encourages Edward II and Bruce to make peace. 8 years later, in 1328, the English finally recognise Bruce as King of Scots, and the border is redrawn. Peace is restored, well, at least for a while.
Somewhat temporarily. I don't have any golden unicorns. Let's look at the wee coins. Oh. Oh, I can't really see the top ones, but you can get a good look at this one. That's good. That one's too deteriorated to really get a good view of. That's good. Oh, I like this guy. Looks like a skeleton beating an old woman. It's very strange. A skeleton is depicted pointing an arrow at the heart of a stooped figure. Tomb carvings of this period often featured a vivid memento mori, literally remember you will die. So that's what this is. I like that a lot. This is a fragment of a tombstone, 1614. The words are too fragmentary to read, but this kind of carved lettering is often found on gravestones of the period. And this grave slab here is 1633. No monasteries existed in Scotland by the date shown in this stone, but it seems to depict a monk. The carving style is similar to stones of the 1540s, so it may date from them, with the date added nearly a century later, suggesting that it was reused. When it says no monasteries existed in Scotland by 1633, it's because of the Reformation, which was like kind of 1550s, 60s, when that all kind of kicked off, just about the moment the Catholic Mary Queen of Scots took the throne, really. So that was unfortunate. Ian Hamilton. Love Ian Hamilton.
Was the chair, and I had the chimney. I broke the beating round, and I forget, I think I went to the back and pushed the stone out, and they pulled at it from the front, and down it came onto the floor of the abbey with a thump, and broke. A quarter of it broke away. Remember, I was there to take that stone home, and if I had to take it home in two parts, that meant the job was easier, because we had best part of 400 weights to deal with, and I was able to pick up the bit that had broken, which was quite heavy, probably a quarter of it, but I could pick it up, and I ran with it right out and into the car. Meanwhile, there was the most enormous speculation as to what had happened to the stone, because no one knew we were in a fix. What do you do with your country's regalia when it's in your possession and you don't know? We believed that the time had come to deliver it up. But we had no one to deliver it to. No one was willing to take responsibility for it. We chose Arbroath because it was in Arbroath in 1320 that the Scottish nation affirmed its nationality again by sending a letter to the Pope, who was the United Nations of the time. And we thought that Arbroath was the appropriate place to deliver the Stone of Destiny up to the Scottish nation.
I love that guy. He did that excellent video, Who Owns Big Ben, in which he talks about how Scotland has a share in many of the government buildings in England, along with the Bank of England, and that should we cease to be a part of the Union, we would be looking to sell our share. and that perhaps England might not be able to financially assist them in obtaining a full share of these things. Give Scotland options. We've got Accies being a monk for us, sporting it rather well. I wonder where those doors leading to. Door up there. Must be on a floor. And that was Arbroath Abbey. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Definitely worth a visit. Definitely worth a visit. Abbey done!
Abbey's done, aye.
Abbey done. Next one is the Declaration Memorial.
Aye.
And that was on the way out on the A92. So can't you miss that? So this is coming up to the Declaration of Arbroath Memorial statue. It says, "It is in truth not for glory, nor riches, nor honours that we fight, but for freedom that alone, which no honest man gives up, but with life itself." Declaration of Arbroath, 6th of April 1320. That's good, though. Into that. So once again, Accies has decided that he's not going to come and see a thing. I've just to grab the photos. Here's Carlungie Earth House, which is what we're going to go and have a wee swatch at, which is across this field. Which is, I think after seeing this, Aggie was like, yeah, I'm not really up for walking that. Fair enough. So I'll do it. Oh, my foot's not enjoying this. It's really windy. You can probably hear that in the microphone. It's pretty windy. I assume this would be harder to get to if all the straw or corn or whatever this is hadn't just been pulled up. Okay, so this is Carlungie Earth House. It reads, about 2,000 years ago, Carlungie was home to farmers who lived in wooden round houses, growing crops and raising livestock. Little remains of their homes, but you can see these remarkable cellars they built. Going underground, subterranean passages were dug throughout Scotland as well as Ireland, Cornwall and Brittany. They're often known by their French name, souterrain, meaning underground. 2 souterrains were found at Carlungie, including one of the longest in the country. Carlungie was excavated in 1951-52 by F.T. Wainwright. There was subterranean storage. These tunnels were once thought to be defensive refuges or primitive homes, but archaeologists now believe they were cellars. We can't be sure what they stored, but their cool environment would have made them suitable for grain, dairy products, or even meat. This reconstruction shows a similar site at Pitcairn, with the souterrains dug next to the roundhouses. Central Scotland's souterrains may have been built by local people in the 1st and 2nd centuries AD to meet the Roman army's demand for provisions. Archaeological discoveries revealed Carlungie's Roman connections. There is a Roman amphora found at Carlungie, may have held wine from the continent, and inlaid with blue glass, this expensive brooch was found nearby. It was made in Roman France around 100 to 200 CE. There you go. We'll have a wee walk around it, shall we? I don't know that I'm going to want to go in it. Maybe we will. But we'll have a wee look through the outside first, shall we? And that's it for the Earth House. Really, it'd be good to get like a kind of outside upper view of the thing. But yeah, there you go.
Right, I managed to get her out of the motor. Right, so if anybody, please, I don't care if you phone anybody, emergency services, police, ambulance, I don't care. If we get the police to pull me up, right, I don't know who the fuck she is. I gave her she thumbed a lift 2 years ago off me, can't get her out of the fucking motor. Drive me nuts. Right, okay, so, right, my registration, SM69. PFD, okay, right, I better get away. She'll fucking right here. She's got back. Shh.
Oh, there was another Earth House, but I don't know how easy it was to get to.
Was it just? What is it? What was it? Just a hole in the ground?
Well, it was a kind of walled hole in the ground.
Oh right, okay. Right, well, at this point we've already got one. We know that the other one's got to be like a binner hole in the ground.
I'll show you. I got you like a couple of pictures. See, like,
oh, right.
walled holes.
Ah, right, okay.
This is
was all good, all this landscape out my side.
Aye.
Yeah, so this castle was designated as a scheduled monument in 1971. The early 17th century north range of the castle is now a separate fortified house and has been converted into private residence. It itself is a Category A listed building. Alright. So part of it's privately listed, part of it's a monument.
Right.
Oh, welcome to Dundee. Well, thank you very much.
Unless
There's
there's
a wee...
one there.
Maybe.
Let's have a look. That's gated.
Wait 2 seconds. I can get pictures of it though. Are you able to reverse into there?
Well, I don't.
Oh, wee bumblebees on the flowers. We're seeing lots of bumblebees. That's good. Because every time I go online, people are complaining they're not seeing bumblebees anymore, and it's like, I'm sure every time I'm out, we're seeing lots of bumblebees. And where?
Okay.
Get out and let's see what we get.
Eh?
To see this place close up, because one part in takes you to like a farm, and the other part in says it's completely private. But this is Powrie Castle anyway, which we can't get anywhere near. So here's Powrie Castle. I kind of want to jump this fence and just try it, but they say there's electric surveillance, so I'll not get Accies in trouble because he probably got his Reggie marked already. Listen to how rattly these are. Don't know how much of that you can hear. It's good, and there's loads of bumblebees on the flowers and stuff. At the end of here, you're taking a left and it's right there. Mains Castle is right there. We even get a nice wee bridge before it too.
Right here.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, there it is.
Oh, it's there.
Just showed up, didn't it? It was just suddenly there, and we can get to it. Holy who'd have thought? It's roofless, it's a good ruin. I don't know how much park, can maybe park behind the green car? I don't know.
Well, come see.
There's a road closed. These people are parked here. Yeah, they're all just parked here. CCTV in operation. This guy doesn't care. Road closed. But you can go down here and turn. CCTV in operation. Is that for the castle or for the house?
I don't know.
I don't know either. Is it? Does someone live in it? I think someone lives in the castle. How amazing is that? I think someone actually lives in it.
Right.
We're at Mains Castle now, which we can get closer to because this is the wall of it. There is CCTV in operation. I assume because people actually live here, because it looks like out the back garden there's like a washing line and stuff, which is quite good. But this is ruined. You can see it's all ruined. So I don't know. Does someone live in it? It'd be pretty good if they did. I like these old buildings to be kept in kind of operation. We'll go up and round here to have a wee look. Oh, my foot's still sore for getting to that wee stone house, the wee earth house thing. Oh, I need to be nice to myself. Oh. What have we got up here? Oh, just grass. Yeah, you can't really see any of the castle over this side. Oh well, we did check a thing, which, you know, doesn't hurt. You just get a wee glimpse of one of the top tours. We'll come back down and we'll have a wee look round the back of it. I don't think you can get into the grounds of it again
It states everywhere that there's CCTV in operation. The road behind it is a closed road. I don't know if that's because it's a private road. It doesn't state private, it just says closed. This is Mains Castle, just no far fae Powrie Castle. We'll have a wee look round the back. Trying to see signs of life. See how much the building is maybe still in operation or still being used. There's stuff stuck inside that glass up there. It looks really old. Lots of cars parked here, so I don't know if that's people that stay here. Maybe it's like a private place to be able to stay in or something. See, there's a laundry line. It's a garden. Doors open. I don't know, open to what though, you know. Have a wee sneaky peek. Lounge, bar and function room. Excellent. Okay, so we can get inside, but it's like a pub. So we'll see if we can get a drink in here, then have a place to sit down for a second. This is a wee bridge next to Mains Castle. Not much of a river. We'll go up this way. God, I'm standing in the middle of the road trying to decide on direction. It's not like it's a busy road. Oh, look at all these nettles. No, I am not going to try and get through the nettles. And there's no pavement on the side of the road. Okay. Oh, hoaching with midges. I don't know if you can see that on the camera. It's very overgrown, this river. Oh well. Not too much to see then. We're going to have a wee look and see if we can get into this place. Because if it's a bar, they should probably be open for business. Yeah, we've got some good Scottish raspberries on the go. Along with the thistles and nettles. We'll catch up with Accies and find out if he's maybe already got himself settled. That's all nice, all this nice sun off the water and that. And a wee church up in the hill too.
Aye. With a tea here again then?
Yeah, I guess so, yeah.
With tea.
Yeah, it would be, aye. We've just come for Dundee, so it would be, yeah. In the health board of Tayside.
we still have our car mascot from the first trip we did to Helmsborough Way.
Yep.
He is so cute.
Looks like the air quality that better.
Yes, much better. I didn't realise he had a wee felty tail. Oh, I like that. Its name is Dottie, and its birthday is June 16th. It's got a name and a birthday, Accies. Yeah, it's Dottie, and it's June 16th is its birthday. It's a beanie ball, apparently. It is very cute. Can't really focus on that. It wasn't really doing its job when we blew a tyre last time around, did it?
What was it did?
What's the mascot? It's like our good luck charm. It wasn't really working last time around because it pissed it doing all day and then we blew a tyre. They were exempted from assisting at the yearly synods in Pope Pius II, especially
Roughly,
since that's where the Declaration of Arbroath was.
roughly
signed off.
9:51. Nice church on the left hand side, we just passed it.
Right, but you've got the cameras turned
Oh,
off, so it doesn't matter. Like,